Hello, my name is Kelly Harris, and for the library assignment, I will be analyzing The Last West.
The creative team includes writers Evan Young, Lou Iovino, with lettering by Kel Noodle. Cover art is done by Cody Chamberlain and is colored by Liesl Buenaventura, and pencils and ink by Novo Malagapo. This comic is also published by Alterna Comics with the length of 130 pages. This is also a genuine graphic novel because it tells one story that continues through many issues. It also reads as if you're watching a feature-length film or movie. Act 1 ends on page 28 and Act 2 begins on page 29. It doesn't follow our model for act structure length. There are 5 chapters with 22 pages for each chapter, which does fall into normal page counts for chapters. I believe this is Raymond West's story. The goal is to find who or what caused the atomic bomb not to fire. Act 2 supports this goal by explaining Arthur West's discovery about their family having a kind of magic that causes things to happen for good advancements in society and for terrible pain and death, which in this case means a West family member not present at the bomb testing. This comic does have a solid story arc. It goes through what happened and how it happened, with the addition of the response to the events based on the involvement of the pivotal West family. It has a clear beginning with the atomic bomb testing resulting in failure. Then Robert Wittenheimer, the lead scientist on the Jughead project, is informed by Walter Allen from the Office of Scientific History that the project is now suddenly canceled. This pushes Robert to go over information on the Jughead project, inquiring about Sergeant Carey, a soldier who filled in for the absent soldier, Stephen West, who was scheduled to be present on testing day. This leads Robert to Stephen West's sudden disappearance on the project. At this point, we start to learn about Stephen West. The middle of the comic takes us through the origin of the West family and then their eventual discovery of their magic by Arthur West, who then decides to make his family scarce to the world in order to save it. These events lead us to the end, where we see the last of the West family members, Raymond West, and his life with his crazy dying mother, who invents and creates futuristic gear and equipment. The resolution of the story leaves us on a cliffhanger of Raymond West on his way to blow up his family's legacy with explosives. I believe there's more to the story if I buy the next volume, but for the sake of analyzing this as a single volume, it makes me feel satisfied because it makes me understand the decisions of Arthur West, whether I agree with his choices or not. Arthur West, the patriarch of the West family, has a solid character arc. Arthur learns that his family has some sort of magical power in world-changing events. Whenever a West family member was a part of something, great innovation and success was present, but then also death and tragedy would follow in its wake. Arthur is a successful and ambitious businessman that turns into a plagued man, full of regret, and uses the last of his fortune to seclude his whole family from the world to save it from their powerful influence. The story does a good job leading us into effective transitions, time changes, and letting us know when we are in the past, with captions describing the time and place. Although I would like to say there is clarification I would love to have with some of the captions. Every present day caption doesn't tell me what year present day is within the comic. Other than that, the transitions were done very well. Scott McCloud's ideas of transitions are apparent in The Last West. Movement to movement shows basic movements done by the character or characters. Action to action shows a character or object going through one specific movement. Scene to scene shows transitions that can be within long times and places. Aspect to aspect shows the same scene in different perspectives. And finally, subject to subjects shows transitions that are part of a dedicated sequence or idea being explained. Does the story make use of the page as a mini-comic? I would like to think yes. The comic pages within The Last West utilizes this strategy using effective setting panels at the top of the page and panels at the end of the page that beckon the reader to turn it. The story also makes effective use of directional flow. It does it very well. The movement of the art and text layouts follow a Z pattern to capture the reader's eye and keep them on track, pulling them through the comic as they read. I would recommend this to my classmates because it makes good use of the past to tell a complete story. I would recommend this to my friends because the idea of historical fiction would be intriguing to them. My friends and I love history, so it would pique their interests. A fun fact before you go about the comic The Last West. Each chapter has a splash art that utilizes the chapter number. For example, Chapter 8's splash art has a dartboard marked with point scores all around it, with a dart firmly stuck in the 8-point area, further signaling that you're on, you guessed it, Chapter 8.
Thank you so much for listening to my library assignment for the comic book analysis. I had a great time reading the comic. So thank you so much for listening, and hope you guys have a great rest of your week.